Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Soti here, Soti Woko, my YouTuber based in Nigeria that does mostly makeup, skincare and vlogs, eventually fashion and hair. But today we are going to be talking more about brushes, sponges and so on and so forth. The things you would use to actually apply your makeup on your face and look good to go out or not go out or even stay indoors. I'm going to be having two segments. The first segment is going to be me explaining all the brushes that I use when I'm doing my makeup that I post for you guys to see, and the second segment will be strictly for beginners. So if you're just starting up a makeup journey and you want to get into makeup, this will be like a proper breakdown for you to actually help you know the kind of brush or the particular type of brush to get for this journey of yours. It's going to be precise, step by step, and it will help you quite a lot. So if you're a new subscriber or if you're a newbie that's watching the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts in the comment section. And if you're an OG, thank you so much for coming back to watch the video. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. All right, without plenty chit chat and plenty of talk, let's just get straight into the video. First segment will be about eyes, or the brushes or sponges to use for your eyes. Now mind you, some of the brushes are not labeled. Some are just random brushes that you can purchase in the market, in the supermarkets, at a beauty shop. You can just purchase them, and then some of them have names which I will mention to you with their numbers. I will not recommend a particular brand of brush. I will recommend the style of brush you should get, because recommending the brand, it might not have the style you want. Another brand might have the style you need. So this is the first segment. These are the brushes that I use to do my makeup, starting off with the eyes. So I have a couple of them here with me, and I'll be telling you each and every one. First brush will be the brush that I use to conceal my eyebrows, and it's this one right here. It's from Urban Decay, Naked 7, I believe. This is a flat brush. It's rounded here, so it will help me get the curve that I need for under my eyebrows. So I don't like using an angled brush, which you can also use. You can use this angled brush it's angled, as you can see, to do that as well, but I prefer to use a rounded brush to conceal under my brows. Don't worry, as time goes on, I'll equally post a video showing my eyebrow tutorial or the ways I do my eyebrows anyways. So yeah, the next brush that I would explain is, after applying all that concealer, I want to blend it out. I don't want it chunked up there. I use this particular brush from Real Technique. It's number 300, and this is what it looks like. It's fluffy, it's small and fluffy. You mustn't get this particular one from Real Technique. There are other brushes that you can use, that you can get, but just make sure that it's fluffy here, not too fluffy, but make sure that it's a bit dense. It's dense at the, what they call this part, where it all comes together. It's dense here, but here it's fluffy. So when you tap it on your eyelid, it's able to blend it out very well. I hope you can see it's able to blend it out very well. So that's what I use to blend out my concealer under my eyebrows. Then now we're talking about the eyeshadow placement. For eyeshadow placement, I first of all go in my crease brush, and it's this brush right here. It's really fluffy. It's fluffy. It's fluffy, so I just use it to apply whatever color that I want to use for my crease, and then it gets the job done quite well, blending it out. And even using it during or after I've applied all my eyeshadow product, going back in to blend it out, a particular brush gets the job done. I don't know what is happening. Words are not coming out well. Please don't come for me, just bear with me. After blending out my crease, and I want to go in either with a shimmer or going with glitter or going with a matte shade. So there are three brushes that I would use for that. So for a matte shade, I would use something that is still flat as well, a little bit fluffy, but also flat. As you can see, it's flat and it's a bit fluffy. This is what I will use for my matte shades. This is what I would use. And then if I'm going in with shimmer, I'd use this flat one. It's wide enough to actually get to where I want it to be. This is what I will use for my shimmer shades. Then for glitter, I don't really want it precise. I want it dancing around, except I'm actually packing it on for a particular look. If I am packing it on, then I will still use this glitter brush. But if I am not packing it on, I will just go in with another fluffy brush. This one is not really precise. I just pick it and then I just apply it like this, and it's everywhere. So I don't really have to be precise with that brush. So when I'm done with all of these brushes, I can go back in with that my concealer brush from what's it called, Urban Decay, and then just use it to apply my concealer at the tail part of my eyes to, like, you know, clean it up. This helps to get the job done. Just clean up the tail part of my eyes and it looks crisp, sharp. Yeah, so this is the first segment, the eyes. So yeah, if I'm doing the lower lash of my eyes, I'd still go back in using this type of brush. This will help me like apply shadows on my lower lash. Maybe if I don't want to do a waterline effect, I can use this to just apply shadows on my lower lash, and it gets the job done quite well. Mind you, I have multiples of this and I have multiples of some other ones here that are in my hands, but I can't be showing all of that. This video will be too long. So I have multiples of this, and then I can use that to just apply the shadows at the lower lash, go with mascara, and I'm good to go. So let's go into the next segment now. I think I do maybe the lips first before we go into the base, because everybody likes good base. I mean, base is the base of your makeup, of course. So let's go into lips. For lips, I'd use this angle brush again. Like I said, I have multiples of some. I use this angle brush from Miss 5. Yes, Miss 5, to clean up the edges of my lips. I apply concealer on this, or concealer on my back of my hand, and then take some product and apply this to clean the edges of my lips. When I know that the product is going out of placement, I use this to clean that up. Then if I'm going in with a lip gloss or lip oils, or I don't want it directly from the product to my lips, I use either of these brushes here to do that, to pick and then to apply, to pick and then to apply. You can see they are both rounded. This is rounded, so is this one too, rounded and pointy as well. Yeah, rounded. I'm looking for the right words to actually describe them, but this is what they look like for my lips when I want to apply lip glosses. And then if I want to pick up a shadow, maybe I don't have the particular color for that look I'm going for, I will just pick a nice shadow color and then use my brush. I'll use this brush right here. It's a fluffy brush, so I use this one to just pick up the shadow and then tap it on my lip. And then after tapping it on my lip, I know I already have gloss on. I would now use this one, this rounded one. It's very dense, so I just want to blend the products like together, like mix them together on my lips. This is what I would do. So after application with these guys, or rather after application with these guys, I now use this one to, you know, marinate everything together, and then just use this one to clean up. So these are the brushes, the 5 brushes that I use for my lips. Save the best for the last. We're talking about base now. This is base. You know, your base actually makes or breaks your makeup. If you go and do a fantastic eye, but your base is not basing, my dear, you need to go back and redo what you just did, because people are looking at your skin, you're looking at your eyes as well, but mostly at your base. So the brushes I have in my hands are a lot. They're a lot, but I'm going to explain them. When it comes to products, like the prepping of my skin before I apply makeup itself, I just tend to use my hands. I like to use my hands to apply products. So my serums, my you know, the primer or the oil block or the sweat block, I like to use my hands. But if you don't like to use your hand, and if you're working with a client, you can actually use a brush, and you use a flat brush, mind you, or you can use a dense brush, but not too dense, a little bit fluffy but not too dense, to actually help you, you know, apply those products well. And a recommendation that I would give would be this one here. It's a bit fluffy, so by the time you apply it like this on someone's skin, it's going to like blend out very well. But I prefer to use my hand since it's my face I'm working with. But if I'm doing a client's face, I'll go in with this brush. It's fluffy, yes, but by the time you apply the product, it's just slicks and slips down on the person's face. So back to now the base of the makeup. The first product is your foundation. Like for me, I prefer to do the full beat. I don't like doing, or I'm not used to doing the no makeup, but I can try. But if I'm going for any occasion, I prefer my full beat. Number 1, foundation brush, and this is from New Band Beauty. Does it have a number? I don't think it does. or I'm not seeing the number written on it anyways. This is from Nuban Beauty. This is their brush. I don't know what it's for, but I use it for my foundation. And this brush, it's a good investment. It is dense. It's like, it just applies your brush, it applies your product well on your face. It's like a paintbrush, but it applies the product well on your face. So this is a good investment. It's from Nuban Beauty. Okay, yes, it has a number, NF13. I have this brush and I don't know the number. Anyways, like I said, it doesn't matter the brand. You're mostly looking at what the quality of the brush is there to offer. You know, the density, and then you're looking at how well it blends, how well does it pack on a product for your skin. So this is the first brush I would use, which is my foundation brush. Mind you, when I'm doing my makeup, if I know that I've gone a bit overboard with my foundation, I'll just go in with my sponge, my trusty black sponge from Isa and Juice. I'll just use it, or you can use the one from ELF, or you can use the one from Zaron, or you can use the one from any brand product. Just get your damp sponge and use it and blend out. Even if it's your concealer, just get your sponge and then use it and blend out if you've applied too much product, and this will absorb it very well. Moving on to concealer. For concealer, I can use my sponge. Sometimes I use my sponge, sometimes I don't use my sponge, and then I use brushes. So for my concealer, I would use this little guy here. This is from Real Technique. This is their setting brush. It's number 402. This brush is of multiple purpose. It's flat and fluffy, and the way it's in is like, how will I put it now? The bristles are shorter here, and then they are longer here. So don't come for me that I'm showing you brushes that I've used, because don't come for me. So this is how the brush is, and it's their setting brush, but you can use it for concealer. So I either use this or I use this for my concealers. So I prefer this one because by the time you're pressing it into your skin like this, it's just like blending it out well. I just use either these two, and this one, it just helps to absorb it. Like, it helps to absorb it very well. Just going with the pointy end and then just blend it out. The next brush that I would use, and that would be for my contour. So for contour, I can use this one because I like angled brushes for my contour, like, you know, to chisel out. Like, you want your skin to be chiseled, you don't want to look rounded. I use this one. I use this to do my contour. It's unbranded, but it's angled, so it helps me to be precise with, and it's fluffy as well. It helps me to be precise with the angle in which I want my contour to fall into and on. For blush now, for blush, I like blush. I like applying blush. I just like applying blush. I use this one from Real Technique. I know I've mentioned a lot of Real Technique, but yes, Real Technique 200. This brush, it helps me pick up my liquid or cream blush products. So if it's liquid, I just apply it at the back of my palm, and then I use my brush to pick it up. Or if it's cream, I just go directly in and then pick it up, and then I use it to blend. This is a dense brush. When I'm battling or trying to deal with liquid, I prefer to go in with dense brushes that gets the job done. Another brush that I would use for contour, I didn't mention that, is also this one. It's also angled too. I decided to show this one. I mean, why not? This is from Blossom Makeup, number 034. So I like to go in with this one. It's also angled, and as you can see, it has the same technique like the Real Technique one, which shows that it's shorter here but it's longer here. So that's what I use for my contour as well. So I've shown you two brushes for contour, and I've shown you my blush brush, I've shown you my foundation brush. Now we're talking about powders. For setting, if I want to go in with my setting powder, I'll still use my sponge. I don't know how to use brush, but I'm trying to use brush. I don't know how to use the brush. I don't like using brush. I try to use sponge because if I take up excess, I just tap it at the back of my hand and then just go in. Then if I want to now set the entire face, I just go in with fluffy brush, and I have two here. So I use either this super duper fluffy brush to set the rest of my face with my not setting powder, with my compact powder, or I use this black one right here to like do that. I use this brush for my blush, powdered blush. After I've applied my cream or my liquid brush, blush, I go in with this one to apply. It's very fluffy and I like it. It's Real Technique brush. What's the number? I think it has wiped off. This one has wiped off, but it's from Real Technique anyways. And this brush, it's very fluffy, and just invest in good brushes and you won't regret. Your makeup will be flawless. Your makeup will be giving you what's supposed to be giving you. You won't have patches. And just always know that you have to wash your brushes. Once you're seeing that they are getting too clogged up with product, just make sure you're washing your brushes so that you don't have streaks or lines on your face when you're applying makeup. So this is what I use for my powder blush to set the cream product on my face. So after that, when I want to set my contour, I use this brush, this particular one here. It's just fluffy, and that's how it looks. It's fluffy, and I pick up the powder products from the palette, and then I just use to set the cream contour that I have applied. For highlights, I use this fluffy brush right here, this particular one, just to apply my highlights on the high points of my face, bridge of my nose, my the tip of my lips, my chin, and my forehead. So this is the brush that I use. It's fluffy, as you can see. Yeah, so that's the brush I use. And then when I'm setting my concealer, I already mentioned I use my sponge. You can also use your powder puff. So this one is from Zaron. You can use it to apply your concealer. You can use it to apply your setting powder. You can use it to apply your compact powder. So you just pinch it, put your fingers underneath, and then you pinch it, and then you go right in under your eyes or bridge of your nose, wherever you want to use it. If you're using it for concealer, fine. If you're using it for what's it called, for blending out your powder products, but ideally it's supposed to be damp, but it can still work if it's not damp. So I prefer to use my sponge, which absorbs more products than the powder puff, but either one that works for you, that's fine. So when you use either one of them, it's cool. It depends on what works for you. Don't forget, this is what I use and what works for me, as this segment is the segment that things that I use and things that actually work for me. So this is the powder puff. You can use it to set, you can use it to bake, as the case may be. The same thing with a sponge. So when you're done with your base, you're looking flawless and everything is looking fantastic. So moving on to the next segment, which is for beginners. Now, as a beginner, you don't need to break the bank. You just need brushes that are precise and that will get the job done ASAP. You want something that will work fast for you. You're not going to do too much because you're just starting, you're just trying your best. So I'm going to break it down again in the same segment that I did, both eyes, lips, and then your base, which is just going to be straightforward. So let's get straight into it. So for the eyes, my beloved beginners, because we were all once beginners. So for the eyes, you don't need much. Conceal your brows, rounded brush, like I mentioned. Just conceal them, pin them up, let them look nice. Rounded one can work. It's easier to use rounded one than to use that angled one. So use a rounded one, like I mentioned. You can still use this brush to blend it out. Just drag it down and apply it everywhere. If you have excess, you can use a sponge, or if you like, you can get this one, but I would recommend this one. You don't really need it. Just use your sponge and just tap it, and you've blended out your concealer. Now your crease, get a fluffy brush, because you have to apply a base color that can transition all your eyeshadow and your concealer together. This will work for you. Like I said, a fluffy brush for transition. Then you have transition. Carry this brush or pick this brush. This is the flat brush I talked about. It will help you pick up matte product, glitter, shimmer, whatever it may be, and tap it on your lid. You can get another one of this fluffy brush for the tail part of your eyes if you want, or you can just use the same brush, maybe a different corner of the brush, and tap it into the color that you want it to use at the back of your at the end of your eyes, not at the back, at the ends of your eyes. So then if you want to apply highlight at the inner tear duct of your eye, just get something pointy like this. This will work fine. Yeah, just apply it there and then you're good to go. And that's it for eyes. You don't really need much. These 4 brushes are just going to get the job done for you. You don't really need too much brushes. For lips, lips, you don't really need much. Honestly, you don't need much. It's your product you're using, by the way. Yeah, so what you just need to get, it's what the brush that you use to blend everything together. If you want to or not, you don't really need to blend it together because you have your mouth together and it's your product you're using. Most of the time these lip products are coming nowadays, they have applicators, so you can just use that directly on your lip. Except you don't want to, you can now use this to blend it out, especially the brown lip liner. You can use this to blend it out and to actually work fine before you now apply your glosses or your lipstick. And then you just use this to clean up. The angle brush I mentioned, that's it. Just clean up. Simple. Just clean up the edges because you don't want it here. Just clean up the edges, and that's it. You just need these two brushes, the blending and clean up, blend, clean up, bend, clean up, and your base. So for your base, what do you need? Products that are just going straight to the point. Let me get those brushes. For the brushes now, first up is your foundation, but for your skin prep, just use your hands. There's no point to getting a brush for that. Just use your hands. Foundation, you need a foundation brush, of course. You really need a foundation brush. Just use this and blend everything in. Mind you, you can still use it for your contour if you want to. If not, you just get an angled brush like this that will help you to be precise with your contour. That's it. Contour, foundation, contour, foundation, contour, foundation, contour. That's it. And you can still use this product, these brushes, to this brush in particular to apply your contour, powder contour. After applying your liquid contour, you can use to apply your powder contour if you want, or you can just go in with your setting brush, the brush that you use to apply your compact powder on your face. You just use this one in particular. It's a fluffy brush to just get the job done. You don't need much. A fluffy brush like this, and then you go over it because this already gives an intensity of the product of your contour on your face. So you just need this one. Yeah, just get this one. This will just get the job done, and then you just apply, and that's it. For blush, going with the Real Technique blush the blush brush that you use to actually set your blush or apply your brush. When you pick it, you pack it, you still go in with your powder product, and then you tap it in, and then you can still use it because it's just a one-time use anyways, and you're not packing on much since it's blush. It's not like your foundation that you're packing on a lot of product. This is just a little product. You tap after applying your cream, and then you tap again when you're applying your powder, and that's it. You don't really need much brushing. Then for your concealer, you can use a sponge. When I first started doing my makeup, I think I was using a sponge before I gravitated into using a brush. So I would recommend a sponge. Use a sponge first when you're starting your makeup. For your concealer, use a sponge. Make sure it's damp, not wet, damp. The same thing applies to your powder puff. If you want to use a wet powder puff, drench it, squeeze out. Once you've squished it out, then you put in your towel, and then you squeeze it again really tight, and then you use. I would recommend this if you're a beginner to start using to blend out your products. And if you've gone overboard, just go back in with this. So this is all you need for your base. It's not much. These are just 5 brushes. These are just 5 brushes. And if you include the remaining brush that I mentioned, which is 2 for your lips and 5 for the eyes, you're good to go. So basically you have 12 brushes that you need, and that's it. And then if you really don't want to invest in brushes, just go in with your sponge. If you have 2 or 3 of this, believe me, if you're good with your blending, you're done. You're literally done, because this can apply powders and cream products. You don't need stress. Drench it, squeeze the excess out, and then you apply on your face, both foundation, so far as you're applying the product on a pan or the back of your hand. So you can use a pan or at the back of your hand to apply this product, and then you just pick, and then you tap, and then you're done. The next thing, concealer, and then you're done. The next thing, contour, the different sides to it, and then you just use it. This is what I actually recommend you starting off with. If my suggestion will be taken, it really help you go a long way when it comes to doing makeup. I think that's the end of the video. I hope that with these few points of mine, I've been able to explain the step-by-step procedure of how you can use brushes, how brushes can work for you, how sponges and powder puffs can actually work for you. You don't really need to break the bank except you want to, except it's your choice, because we all have choices and we decide what we want to do when we want to do it. So it's left for you to decide. I have given you my in-depth brushes that I use, and you have yours, and then also for the beginners. So just decide. Don't rush into it. Take your time. Don't necessarily go for brands. I would suggest don't necessarily go for branded brushes, because the unbranded ones actually get the job done as well. If you have any other questions, kindly let me know in the comment section. I'll be sure to explain it. yeah, so I think that's it. I'll be sure to leave details more in the description box. Then don't forget to like, don't forget to share the video. If you know this video will be helpful to somebody, please share the video, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. I'm gonna bye.